Hello everyone, welcome back for more Let's Play Shadow of the Templars, the Director's Cut, also known as Broken Sword. Joining me is Yorkshire Raven.
Salutations.
So, last we left off, we had a puzzle in front of us. Still a fairly obvious puzzle at this point, I think. Especially since you were not getting out of there without this big code wheel here.
Mystery solved. Carchon's stone cylinder slotted into the hole with a satisfying click.
And now we can never do anything with it ever again. At least away from here. So, luckily we can still pull this up. And it just...
Rolling out the painted cylinder had given me a print of a secret message. It read, Sub Judice. Below it was a sequence of letters, S, D, S, S, D, S, S.
So yeah, if you haven't gathered, S stands for Sinister, D stands for Dexter. Which I believe in French means left and right. I believe. I know there's at least one French speaker who, if she sees this message, will thump me upside the head with the cardboard tube from across the ocean if I am wrong. So let's see, S.
A satisfying click told me I turned it to the right position. It felt like tumblers in a safe.
D.
Another click. Another step closer.
S. S. D. S. And then S.
I love the sound of locks clicking open.
Are you sure you're a journalist?
This sounds more like a lockpicker.
I know, it definitely sounds like there's some rogue in there, and not journalist.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to leave that if we can avoid it.
I removed the stone cylinder.
Might need that later. Are you going in?
Yeah, we might need to womp a mime.
I mean, if we get the chance. Boy, this place looks like it hadn't been used in a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is on the bottom. I think we only have one interactable in here, do we? Not much to look at in here.
Oh my god! The slab came down with a hell of a force.
It didn't sound that bad.
And this is how we died.
And now we are stuck. Or we're not.
With nothing to hold it up, the cross dropped back down again.
Okay, so...
Lifting the cross closed the entrance door and also opened some kind of stone panel. Ingenious.
So what we need to do is we need to rig a way to hold this in place for at least a little while. I mean, that should be fairly obvious, because if we try to do anything else, we can't get anywhere. So what we can do, we have this little piece of metal right here. And we're going to jury rig ourselves up a industrial press of sorts.
Well, this is just getting depressing.
The
It
stone
might have
slab
left
had
one.
flattened one end of the shell case.
Apparently it did not leave a depression in the stone.
Ut lex vel ut next sumito. To the law or unto death, submit. I guess these people didn't believe in liberté, égalité, or fraternité. Yes, I'll admit it. I was a swot at school. I also wore lipstick and the nuns never knew.
I took on the law and the law won.
Ut lex...
Also, now I'm getting flashbacks to Aviary Attorney. I mean, this is the wrong time period, but, you know. So you've managed to lift that up, and now that we have this... Come on. Work.
I just been reading Journey to the West of the
The
moment.
stone
and
cross was
just
propped up.
thinking
Now I was
that
getting
somehow
somewhere.
along the way that both J.J. Falcon and Sparrowson just learned the ways of either Tao or some becoming earthborn immortals. So they're still around, still being tormented with Kaiser balls and ketchup.
That's kind of a terrifying thought. It really is. That's kind of a... By the way, if you have not seen it, go to Yorkshire Raven's channel and go watch the Aviary Attorney Let's Play. There are reasons for this. Reasons where we don't take the game seriously in the least.
There was a beginning of a new era for the Raven crew. You want a sensible take, you watch the streamed version of the game. You want whatever we did to the game, you watch my version.
For those of you that have been watching the channel for a little while and notice JK Lantern and I, how we bounce off each other in most of these Let's Plays, you can thank the Aviary Attorney Let's Play for getting that started. So anyway.
I touched the slot. Nothing bad happened, which was good. I've always been attached to my fingers. This slot was designed for something specific. But what?
Well, if it would give us an
I touched
up-close
the slot.
view...
Nothing bad happened, which was good. I've always been attached to my fingers. This slot was designed for something specific. But what?
If it would give us a nice view of that, you would see how big that hole is. That hole does not look all that large from here. But in fact, it is large enough for the stone cylinder.
The artifact slotted into the hole perfectly. Behind the old walls, I could hear some kind of mechanism groaning into life, but whatever had been triggered had now jammed.
So now that we've done what we need to do
I
with that
removed the
panel for
shell
the
case.
moment...
The cross didn't drop back down. Some kind of mechanism was holding it up.
And now, this actually becomes active for us.
The gap was too thin for me to get a grip. I needed something thin enough to prise the door open.
Funny enough, this game also does a thing a lot of other adventure games did not do at the time, and makes some, there were some adventure games that did, but a lot of adventure games did not have dual-use items. Once you made an item and used it, you were done with it. This game already has 2 of them. So yes,
Another good use for a shell case. Another secret room. Somebody had something to hide. But was it what I was looking for?
but yeah, I mean, if just to summarize what happened in this room, we went in. The cross over here close this door and open up this panel. Well, by putting the stone cylinder into this panel, we open up this door. Only, in our case, it jammed and we had to do something to get the door moving.
Wow. Through the darkness, I could see that this was a stateroom. But for what purpose? And how did it tie in with Carchon?
Boy, it's dark in here.
And we don't have dark vision.
We are not. We are human. Also, we can't walk any further left than this, it looks like.
We can go no further lest we be eaten by a ghoul.
Have you actually played the Zork games? I'm seriously asking, have you actually played the Zork games?
I think I've seen one instance of it, of a very happy barbarian getting his sword back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We may have to remedy that. And I'm not talking the text games, I'm talking the ones that came after. The FMV games.
Amazing. The thing still worked. The room lit up bright as day. It was an old circuit breaker, like something from a Frankenstein movie.
If it text-based games, you might as well don't go that one step further and go
A
for
slot
the
next to the
play by
safe door.
choice books.
All I had to do was find something to fit into it. It was like being back in kindergarten. All I needed now was a shape that would fit the slot.
Well, it may be a bit before we find the right shape.
Lady Justice stared out from a stone door, which was locked and reinforced with steel bands. A door like that always has something important behind it. I had to find a way to unlock it. That wasn't going to help.
Yeah, sadly, we do not have a variety of shapes in our inventory yet.
We do have shapes, but unusual shapes at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, we have elephant.
The flags had faded, but
Yeah,
their
that is to
message was
say-
still pretty clear. Fascist regalia, a message of hate.
Oh, good. We found fascists.
I also noticed how those drapes are hanging. I think they're treading carefully with the symbology here.
They are very careful with this symbology. But yeah, those drapes look more like they're not really hung up as a standard flag. It looks like somebody's just got a pole sticking out and they've stuck a tablecloth over it type. That's the hanging look we've got. But yeah, they're being very careful with what they actually display, mostly because I'm pretty sure they wanted to try to sell this game in Germany.
Yeah, it's one thing the
The
Germans
flags had
do is they
faded,
do
but their
not
message
speak
was
about
still
the
pretty
war.
clear. Fascist regalia, a message of hate.
It's just the point that I
I
have no
wasn't going
mouth
to
and
find
I'm a
anything in
screen.
this old desk.
Becomes
It hadn't been used for
uncompletable
years.
because of the edits that needs to be done.
Yeah? And if you don't know the whole bit, if you don't even know what I have no mouth and I must scream is, I'll tell you, if you like science fiction at all, you should probably go look up the short, because it is a short story by Harlan Ellison. And it's a fantastic short story. It is a really good short story. Really creepy, too.
You've read it when you start on your channel, haven't you?
Yeah, I did a reading of it. But they tried to make a game out of it. They got Harlan Ellison's approval and even got him to read the intro, forward, whatever you want to call it, of a famous speech in the book. But one of the characters in that game is literally a Nazi doctor. He was literally somebody that worked with Joseph Mengele. And none of the characters you are dealing with were good people in their lives before they were basically sucked into this, not alternate universe, but they were sucked below ground and turned immortal by AI that hates humanity for what the humanity did to the AI. But you go through these scenarios of these characters' past life, and of course, since you're dealing with a Nazi doctor, his entire section is inside a concentration camp, and you have to complete his entire section to be able to beat the game. Well, Germany looked at that and went, oh hell no, and basically made them censor out all of his section. And since you can't complete any of his section, you can't complete the game in Germany. Unless you import it from somewhere. But yeah, any German copies of the game, completely uncompletable.
The flags had
And we both know someone
fascist.
who brought up possibly doing that game at some point.
I mean, I tried to stream it, but dear God, the bugs. Okay, we can keep looking at the fascist regalia up there. We can't look at all these spider webs. Good God, that's a lot of spider webs.
You should look to Spider. The slider just looks back. Club.
Hey, as long as he doesn't actually bother me.
Inside the drawer, I found a note written in some kind of code.
Okay, let's wait to do that. Let's actually go over here.
It was pretty clear from the lack of dust that someone had been working very recently at this desk.
Wanna guess who?
This was the article I'd written about the costume killer. My suspicions were right. Carchon had cut it out. 2 businessmen had been killed. One in Italy, one in Japan. In each case, the killer had worn a costume, a penguin, and then a snowman. But that wasn't the only link between the 2 murders. Both the victims had been big media do-gooders, and I proved they were just the opposite. So, how did they fit in with Carchon?
I wonder what you could unveil about Carchon in this secret underground, not Nazi facility here that he had access to. I wonder what it was about him that you could unveil to the public and ruin his image.
My articles about the
They
costume
had
killer.
access to certain resources from the past and knew a funky handshake.
My articles about
Sure.
the costume killer. The dregs at the bottom of the mug hadn't dried out or gone moldy. It wasn't more than a day old.
What I like about Nico, she actually says the things that are important sometimes.
The congealed coffee wasn't appealing. Oh my God. The sheet was a printout with my personal information. Everything from my favorite food to my waist size. They were right about chocolate. But come on, guys, I'm a size 10. There was even a picture of me, taken with a telephoto lens. Carchon wouldn't have taken these pictures himself. This was big and organized. I was part of it, and people were getting murdered.
This could be problematic.
Yep.
One thing was clear. Someone connected to Carchon had been watching me. My article.
Yes. Okay, now that we've actually seen that somebody's been spying on Nico for a good long while now,
Damn. Don't you just hate it when that happens?
Not in this case.
A photo, long lost, had fallen down the back of the drawer. It was very old, but there was no mistaking the guy in the foreground. Carchon. Behind him were soldiers, a burning village, and a corpse. The photograph was cropped on the right-hand side. Somebody else in the picture obviously didn't want to be in it anymore. I wasn't surprised. This was Africa in the 60s. An uprising was being brutally suppressed. And here was Mr. Media himself, Carchon, doing the suppressing. The photograph was not just powerful evidence. It was also my ticket to one explosive story.
Also, if you get a good look at that, the shirt on Carchon seemed to be hanging a little funny there. But that's just a minor thing.
There was nothing else in the drawer. The drawer had come out easily enough, but wouldn't fit back into place.
Yeah, people are going to know we were snooping.
Yeah.
So, we have found a few things in here. We are almost done in this section, but I think now marks a good stopping spot, because there's a puzzle waiting for us, and it might take a minute for me to actually solve. Yes, I'm cliffhangering another puzzle, sue me. So until then, take care everyone.
Bye.